So, good morning once again, everyone, and welcome to Tuesday, and Happy New Week to everyone. And the basis of our meeting this morning will be we'll be looking at interpersonal skills, how we can grow our interpersonal skills, and how it will help in the workforce. Then, the introduction says interpersonal skills enhancing communication and relationship. Then the introduction for what I will talk about is what are interpersonal skills, why are they important, and the objectives of this presentation. Then here we go by the types of interpersonal skills that we have. We have verbal communication skills, non-verbal communication, listening skills, teamwork, and conflict resolution. Then, in terms of the communication skills, the number one key point is to know about the importance of a clear communication. Knowing about the importance of a clear communication, let me say within a team, it will also enhance a let me say a good and a proper communication channel between group members, effective communication, like in terms of involvement in task, responses, giving attention and showing a listening key, and in terms of feedback, and improving the set skills of every individual team as well. The second point is active versus passive communication. This is one of let me say, the major skills or that do really affect a communication in a group or in an organization, because we have some who are a passive communicator and we have some who are active communicator. So, but if you are in a settings where we have a active communicator, there is no how things will, like in terms of communicating, sharing ideas, the well developed um, interest of everybody in the team will surely put in place. But in terms of the passive communication, I can say there will still be a kind of a slow setback, but there will still be a kind of a communication between the members. Then the third point I'll be talking about under the communication skills is the barrier to effect communication. You know, once there is lack of communication in a group or in an organization, there is no how the skills that everyone has can never be taught. In terms of involving yourself in a particular task, once there is no effective communication, there will be a kind of a workload, be very slow. The rate of providing results will be kind of very slow, and there will not be strength. The strength of such organization or the group will be limited, and there will not be, let me say, there won't be respect and there won't be trust once there is a lack of communication. Then the second one is active listening. No, active listening involves concentrating, understanding, paying attention, or show a listening care and giving feedback and responses to maybe to what someone is saying, or to a particular task being given to complete. And the techniques for active listening is, maybe, for example, if this presentation is a kind of a physical presentation in an office setup, we can say eye contact, nodding, paraphrasing, but as it is on a virtual terms, giving feedback, giving a good listening ear via the virtual presentation is still okay, and asking questions too as well. It shows how active the person is listening, or how active the person is in such presentation is also the part of the techniques. Then benefits in relationship and workplaces. Once you are a good listener, there is always all these kind of in terms of relationship. When you listen to what the other team member has to say, in terms of maybe nodding to a particular correction, aligned to what each and everyone is saying, there will be a kind of effective relationship between everybody in the workplace. And there will be a kind of effective communication too as well, because it's also enhance personal skills and personal communication with each and every individual in the organization or the team. Then in terms of teamwork and collaboration, being a team player also contribute a lot to the organization well-being. Being a team player, you have to, contributing your own quota in terms of achieving the task being given, and always give a full response, and remembering the task being given, and paying attention to the task being given. If the task being given is not really clear, then you can, you know, you can tell the team lead to explain more better, or to help out in one way or the other. That brings in the effectiveness of good communication, and how you yourself have this type of interpersonal skills within yourself. So being a team player also helps in rounding up the your learning style, and in terms of the active listening part too as well, and giving this set of skills, also help the group and the organization to achieve the aims and objectives. Then the third point is giving and receiving constructive feedback. Is as a team player, or as a team member, giving a particular feedback in terms of summarizing the whole task being given, and receiving your feedback from your prospective client, must be detailed when giving a feedback, maybe to the team lead, or to um, maybe to the managing director. So having this spirit of team lead, carrying your your other colleagues along with whatever we are doing, maybe in a group or in the organization, it also you know gives this kind of a room for the strength in terms of the relationship. Does not really give room for misunderstanding, and it's also build trust and respect too as well. So sharing and collaborating with individuals in the team, and maybe in the group, also we also help in the terms of interpersonal skills. Then um conflict resolution, this do really happens most in organization, in terms of the common source of conflict, maybe um lack of respect to individuals. When you perceive, maybe you have an inner weakness, there is no how, or if another individual in the organization perceive you have all this kind of individual weakness, it might cause a grudge, which might lead to a conflict. As I said, misunderstand it too as well, maybe arguing on a particular point. Once maybe an individual make his or her own point, you can make your own point, then everybody can come to a conclusion, but not being putting a particular point over ahead. Everybody, we are all different from each other. The way we interpret words differs. So that might also bring conflict, and lack of attention to, maybe you are being given a task and you are not really paying attention to the task. or is not being carried out maybe at a specific time, maybe the word you receive on that particular aspect might be kind of, not okay for you, and that might really bring, an internal conflict between individuals. And the step to resolve conflict, there are many steps to resolve conflict in terms of good communication. You know, when you open let me say, open yourself to an individual in terms of advice or in terms of carrying out a duty. And the other step of carrying out conflict is like having a mutual understanding with the, maybe the group or the individual involved in the set of group or the organization. Then and we have all these win-to-win negotiation approach. Like, okay, this is what I perceive from your communication. The way you communicate, this is how it is to me. The other parts, let the other individual knows how you really perceive what he or she is communicating to you, so that everybody will be on the same ground, not to cause more conflict. Then building rapport and trust. Number one, the just importance of trust. As we all know, once we have trust in each other, like, okay, yes, maybe Mr. Ali can carry out this particular task. I trust him on that. The trust is there. Once you have the trust, building it on ourselves, that okay, yes, if you give uh, Miss Augustina this particular thing to do, she will always deliver. If you give Mr. Mark this thing to do, he will always deliver. So once you build the trust, the effectiveness of working will be very good. The communication will be very good. The strength of the team and the strength of the organization too will be very good. And everybody can leverage on on our interpersonal skills to carry out the task being given. Then the third point is body language and consistency. Body language too tells a lot in terms of uh, building trust. Maybe in a kind of scenario, maybe you are trying to communicate with a group member. Okay, this is what, giving you a kind of one word reply, and you're a kind of a person that is not really palatable with giving a one word reply. It is surely bring all this kind of not a regular rapport. Like, okay, maybe once in a while you talk, okay, can you help me to do this? Can you help me to once it ends there, it ends there. But once you have all this kind of onboarding body language, that okay, fine, let us delegate together, easy to approach. Once you are all those kind of you belong to those kind of system, for people to approach, okay, can you help me with this, with that? Once your body language is kind of, attracting, like, you to work with people will very easy, and the consistency at which you deliver um, task also determines the how, to build rapport with, and trust with everybody in the organization. Then workplace etiquette. Now the first point is politeness and respect. In an organization where there is no respect, there will always be a lack of communication. There will be communication setback. There will not be trust, because the situation whereby we have maybe someone, let me say, um, if let me put it in this way, maybe in an organization we have someone who is too bossy on the other um, staffs. The respect at which such person can get from the individuals will be kind of very low in terms of the self-esteem. But where politeness and respect is involved in an organization, the workforce there can never be set back, and everybody will surely put his or channel his or her energy, to give everything that is entails. Email and digital communication. You can communicate with each other maybe via email. The digital communication too, in terms of maybe virtual, meeting like this. You can go on the social media aspect, to communicate, to carry out work done. Then handling criticism professionally. um, Not everybody can take a criticism word to maybe to use or herself. Some do burst out, but being professional in everything we are doing makes like everything different. And professionalism to tells about how the workforce and how the work body too goes on. Maybe you are being criticized, or you don't really like the way you are being criticized on a particular task. You can meet up with the team lead. Okay, um, you can iron out the aspect, professionally. Then developing your skills. Developing your skills. We have some set assessment tools in terms of personal assessment. The personal assessment is part of the assessment tools where you understand your own behavioral traits. Nobody can really know you the way you know yourself. So once you know your own personal strength and your own personal weakness, it will be very easy for you to develop your own set of skills. And to assess yourself, you can assess yourself on your own behavioral traits. Maybe, I don't know what is your fear in an organization, fine, but once you identify your strength and your weakness, it will be very easy for you, you know, to assess yourself personally. The second tool is personal skills. Once you have a personal skills, you can use such personal skills, to assess yourself, like in terms of how have I used my own personal set of skills to improve the aims and objective of my team, of the organization. So you can assess yourself through that. The third one is learning style. Maybe we all have different type of learning style. Maybe I'm just new to organization. Maybe it takes me maybe a month to adapt to such organization etiquette, and to the rules and policies and how job is being carried on. So from there, I can assess myself with my learning style. Although we have the medium learners, the fast learners, and the slow learners. So the fourth one I can talk about in the terms of the assessment tools is the career interest. Once, okay, this is the path I want to be, this is the path I want to go. It's not about, okay, let me just do it, for the meantime. No. So we all have our own career path to choose. Then the second point is role playing and feedback. Once we all play our role effectively and giving the feedback necessary on the role that we play, or playing the role on a particular task being given and the feedback on it, I'm very sure you can even learn more on on your skills in helping the organization. Maybe when you are being given a particular task, and maybe let me say I'm being given a particular task to do, and I don't really have much idea on the concept of what to do. Maybe, and I know Mr. Mark has this huge concept about it, then I can approach him to, okay, please, can you help me out on this? Can you, or give me a clue or an idea on how to do, to carry out the task. Is about such thing is about role playing and giving a feedback immediately after the task is being given, and recognizing, maybe an individual who helps out in such um, task. Then continuous learning and practice. If we continue in learning the particular skills that we have, I'm very sure achieving our own personal aim and objective, and the objective of the organization to be very easy for everybody. Then in conclusion, effective communication makes teamwork progress. Then interpersonal skills helps individual to progress in working environment. Then the last point is practice daily. Just as the former slide, once you practice your set of skills daily, once you have the effective communication, understanding, you know your strengths, you know how to relate with others, everything will be good as an individual in the organization. Thank you very much. That's the presentation I had for this morning.